it's a marathon, not a sprint. You just got to keep going. And even if you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, just keep picking up with it and try again the next day. Take some time and experiment. Everybody's different. You just got to kind of learn yourself, and you're not breaking any rules. You can do anything the way you want it to. It's just all about what works for you.
Welcome to Type 1 Trail Talks of the T1 Determined podcast. Today, I sit down with Mary Beth Cooley. Diagnosed with T1D in her late 30s, just 1 week before the world shut down for COVID-19, Mary Beth chose to face a daunting new reality with incredible focus. While the rest of the world grounded to a halt, she got to work mastering her health. We dive into what it was like navigating a fresh chronic illness during a global pandemic, and how a profound shift in perspective allowed her to see lockdown not as a detour, but as a rare window to focus on herself. That resilient mindset ultimately led her to the trails, and 6 years later, to our first Project InsulNation trip. And now, my conversation with Mary Beth Cooley. I'm here with Mary Beth Cooley, and one, thank you so much for joining us this weekend. Two, thank you so much for joining us right now. I think you just want to start with the basics. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then about your T1D self, because that lines up to two different things sometimes for us T1Ds. A little bit about your backstory first, and then when you got diagnosed with type 1.
Yeah. I'm Mary Beth. I'm 43 years old. I have one son who's 13. I'm an engineer, live in Connecticut. I got diagnosed in 2020, a week before COVID. And spent most of COVID trying to figure out how to live with type 1 diabetes. Which in hindsight is a blessing.
Let's
really.
double click on that. Trying to learn a chronic condition during a pandemic when healthcare is already, let's say, difficult at the moment. During a pandemic, what was that kind of like, trying to navigate just figuring out what to do?
It was a little scary at the time, given COVID and all of a sudden being high risk when I was typically not high risk of anything prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, though, I think it was actually a blessing in disguise. Basically, the world shut down, and I got to focus on diabetes for a year.
Yeah,
I didn't have to go to restaurants. I didn't have to
good
do anything.
shift.
I could just try and dial everything in and figure out how to eat right and monitor insulin and all of that.
Yeah.
So it was good. I'm glad I got diagnosed the week before, not the week after. But it kind of helped me learn that you do have to advocate for yourself. I don't think I would have naturally gotten diagnosed the week before if I hadn't basically forced my doctors
Very
to.
fair point. Yeah. I know, and myself included, there's a lot of situations I've come across, again, myself included, where the doctors have missed it at first.
Yep.
And then a week later, you're in the hospital. Getting diagnosed with type 1 relatively later in life, was it something that you grew up thinking you were going to have, complete blindside? And then what is it like living most of your life and a good chunk of your adult life without it, and now having it for some time? Do you still, I can't assume, but do you still remember a good chunk of your life without type 1? And do you ever compare the two?
Absolutely remember living without it. I first, yes, completely blindsided. Nobody in my family has it. It was, not expected at all. My first thought when I got diagnosed was, thank God it's me and not my son, who was 7 at the time. And I just kind of went into focus mode of, how do I just make this as normal as possible?
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably went a little overboard at first. I did super low carb, got into really good shape, and then have gone on the roller coaster where I've kind of leveled out a little bit and been a little more reasonable, especially now that I have a pump. So,
well, I'd say the mindset you have alone is just admirable. A lot of people don't have that paradigm shift, so it's good that you got it. At what point, before your diagnosis and then when you were diagnosed, at what point did you seek activity and adventure? Were you somebody who always wanted to?
Right away. I think just because it was combined with COVID, it was what else can I do? Just go for walks, go for hikes,
So you
Be
gotta you
outside,
learn
start
while
running.
being active.
Yeah, and then also just kind of shout out to, I think I was telling Chris that, Chris Rudin, another, type 1 diabetic
Yeah.
that, was doing the Fit Me T1D, like, fitness challenge
Yeah.
right then at COVID time. It was, like, extremely helpful because he was just, like, guiding a whole group of us trying to, like, learn how to be fit and, eat right and manage our blood sugar at the
Heightens
same
the
time.
importance, even though it's such an individualized disease, it really heightens the importance of learning from the community.
Yep.
And applying it to how it individually works on yourself.
Yep.
Now let's talk a little bit about this weekend. So like you say, you're always active. What about the whites? Have you been familiar with the hiking trails this weekend? Was this a first for you? And then how did it go with type 1 and being surrounded by everybody as well?
I've been up here once or twice before.
Okay.
But I spend most of my time hiking in the Adirondacks.
Yeah, very similar.
But I came because I want to do a Pemi Loop.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
Well, I'm sorry we
still
didn't
on
get
my list. But
it's
that's
still on our
okay.
list too.
It's still on our list. But yeah, it was one of the big things that I wanted to cross off.
Mhm.
But I was just talking with Tom and maybe come back in September and do it with Sue.
Awesome.
Because she's trying to do it again and
Yep.
maybe go for it one day. And try and get it done.
What would you, so part of what, either you learned this before, what somebody can take away that has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at your age, if you were literally to just like look in a mirror, what would you tell a newly diagnosed type 1 at your age and at your point in life when you were diagnosed?
Just, take some time and experiment. Everybody's different. You just got to kind of learn yourself, and there's no rules. Nothing is, you're not breaking any rules. You can do anything the way you want it to. It's just all about what works for you. And you can be as strict or as loose as you want to be, just as long as you keep paying attention to it and keep rolling with it. The big thing is it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
And so
100%.
you just got to keep going. And even if you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, just keep picking up with it and try again the next day.
Yeah. Because one thing's for sure, you'll still have it the next day.
Right.
But
for sure.
So cool. Yeah. Now I'd love for you to be fully brutally honest here. How'd this weekend go? And then any sort of feedback about like what did you think about Project InsulNation? What did you think about the whole trip experience? Everything that went right and everything that went wrong. We want to hear it so we can better our experience for people and build from the ground up.
The weekend was great. I think,
Awesome.
just meeting everybody and getting to hang out with some type 1s and then going for hikes for, I would say, like a pretty decent range of experience levels and age of diagnoses and everything, from like Tom, who's had it for however long, over 30 years, 40 something years,
yeah.
To like less than 2 years. I think I was actually kind of surprised that there was so many of us that were diagnosed as adults fairly recently. So it was kind of good to hear some of their perspectives on being diagnosed as an adult. But overall, I think the weekend was great. And it was, even though we didn't get to do exactly the hike that we wanted to, I think the hikes we did were awesome.
Cool.
And appropriate for our group. So
anything we can do better in the future?
Maybe like more standardized communication. Like I feel bad that Sheila didn't get all the texts now.
Our listeners are going to know that Sheila was accidentally not in the group chat.
But I think it was really good, and obviously for a first time, it was a good success.
Well, Mary Beth, thank you for coming this weekend. Thank you for talking to me now. And like with everybody here, we've all gained new friends, and we're grateful for your presence and what you brought to us.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us with Mary Beth Cooley on Type 1 Trail Talks. For all our content, please visit T1determined.net. Connect with us on social media Find us on Instagram, TikTok, and X at T1D_endurance, and on Facebook and YouTube at T1 Determined. Please also like and subscribe, and you can leave up to a 5-star review wherever you're listening. Until next time, keep pushing your limits. I hope this helps. Stay strong, stay determined. T1 Determined.